Hi, this is Jan Pepper. I'm the mayor of Los Altos, and I want to thank everyone for calling in this afternoon and for being so engaged in our community. Everything that you do makes a difference, and following the directives that have been put out is super important, because if everyone does this, then we will be able to be unsheltered possible. So as you probably know, the shelter in place has been extended to May 3rd, and we don't know if it might be extended beyond that time. And as I'm sure everyone knows, you should stay home, you should wash your hands, and the new directive is to also cover your face, your nose and your mouth when you're out for essential activities. And why? It's because you could be a carrier even if you are asymptomatic, and this can help reduce virus shed, basically the exposure to others from you. And there are lots of cute things online on how you can make your own fabric covering for your nose and mouth. You should not be using medical equipment, because the medical providers are the ones who need that equipment. And as I'm sure you all know, only people that should go out are only those who are performing an essential function. And then social distancing, we should all be at least 6 feet away from each other. As we're walking in our neighborhoods, please, please, please stay far apart from your neighbors. We can talk and wave and do everything from at least 6 feet away. So as far as some resources that are available for people, the Santa Clara County Public Health website has a wealth of information. They also have a dashboard that is tracking the total number of cases, the new cases, deaths, and other statistics. And you can find this website by Googling Santa Clara County Public Health. The latest data for today that I just looked at about 5 minutes ago shows that the county has 1,285 cases, with 61 new cases today. As of today, there have been a total of 43 deaths in the county. During Joe Simidian's town hall on Sunday, the county health officer, Dr. Sarah Cody, said that she was hopeful that maybe the curve was flattening. And she also said that the cases are distributed throughout the county. So we do not have any specific information about what's happening in Los Altos as far as how many people may have the virus who've tested positive, who've tested negative, or anything like that. We do not have anything specific for Los Altos. Dr. Cody also noted that they had anticipated that widespread testing would be available by now, but that is not the case. So if you have any symptoms, call your doctor. Do not go to the emergency room without calling first, but first make a call to determine what the best course of action for you should be. So let me give you a little update about Los Altos, what's happening here. All of the shared public recreation facilities have been shut down: playgrounds, shared picnic areas, basketball courts, and most construction is prohibited, and we have stopped construction on the new Los Altos Community Center. And I want to speak specifically to the seniors, because we do have a large senior population in our community. So my message to you is stay home. There are others who can shop and run errands for you. So one place you can go is the Los Altos Community Foundation. And if you're able to use a computer, you can go to their website, losaltoscf.org, and they have a sign-up sheet for you to get help for errands for seniors. And there are some Los Altos High School students who will shop for you. And if you give them a tip for the errands that they run, they're donating those to a worthwhile nonprofit. If you can't use a computer or you don't feel like it, we have the Senior Connection through the City of Los Altos. This is a phone number that is accessible to community members, and it's running Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the number to call is 650-947-2888. 2797. That's 947-2797. And you can speak with city staff and they can help you with whatever your concerns or needs are. The community connection is also available to the entire community, and that's being staffed Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And any city resident can call to speak to a city staff person, and that number is 947-2790. 947-2790. I also wanted to let you know how you can support our local businesses. The Los Altos Chamber of Commerce has initiated a website called whatsopenlosaltos.org, which went live tonight at 5:30. You can go to that site to purchase, donate, or order from your favorite merchants. And you will also be able to purchase gift cards from merchants from this site as well. So I know we're all concerned about our merchants. We want our businesses to be able to weather this difficult situation, and that's an important way that you can help. I also wanted to talk about evictions. If you are a renter, on March 24th, the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors passed an urgency ordinance prohibiting evictions through the end of May, so long as tenants can show their income was affected by the coronavirus. Yesterday, the state of California adopted an emergency rule delaying all evictions and foreclosures until 90 days after the governor lifts the state of emergency related to the pandemic. So if you are a renter or you have a landlord-tenant relationship, please be aware of all of that. So that's all that I will talk about right now. I'll hand it over to Chris, and then we are both looking forward to answering any questions that you have, or finding out what your questions are and getting back to you with answers if we don't have those at this time.
Thank you, Mayor Pepper. And the mayor literally covered all of my notes. She did a fantastic job. I will just add that a couple of quick things. Our police department is fully engaged, and you will not see any changes in what our police department is doing. All of our essential workers are on the job. They're to protect the community and do all of the usual things that they do to help all of us. Finally, just real quick, I just wanted to thank everybody in the community. I want to thank our police, our first responders, all of our healthcare workers who are on the front line of fighting the coronavirus. It is amazing what they are doing. I also want to thank all those who are in essential businesses such as grocery store clerks, those who are working in pharmacies, those types of businesses who continue to come to work in these really difficult situations. It's just terrific to see everybody responding the way they are. And again, as the mayor mentioned, it is incumbent upon all of us to do what we can to slow the spread of the virus. So everyone, please keep following the public health order. Exceed it if you have to. Do whatever we need to so that we can all get back to normal business as we're used to in the past. Otherwise, I don't have anything else to add. The mayor really touched on everything. So I think we should just open up for questions.
I do want to actually add that the What's Open Los Altos was a joint effort of the Chamber of Commerce, the Los Altos Village Association, and the City of Los Altos.
All right, so first for questions, Ruth Patrick.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for taking my call, and thank you, Mayor Pepper, for all your wise words. And I'm sorry I didn't catch them all because it took me a while to log on, so I apologize if you've already covered this. But I'm wondering about shopping, just basic food. I'm a little nervous about going outside, and I was trying to order from like Instacart. But are you aware of what's going on with them, or if they're back in business? Because I've been trying for a week now and I can never get through. So I'm wondering about ordering groceries and how hard that is to do, and if I go in person, do you have any recommendations for, I know if you're senior, they're suggesting you can go early in the morning, and any thoughts or tips about groceries and delivery?
Yes. For groceries and delivery, I suggest that you stay home. And what I mentioned earlier was the Los Altos Community Foundation has on their website a form that you can fill out if you need help for errands such as shopping. They have teamed up with a group of Los Altos high school students who will shop for you. So that website is losaltoscf.org, and you click on the coronavirus section, and there will be a page there to sign up. If you're not, if you need help with computers, or you want someone to help fill out that form for you, please call the Senior Connection at the city between 9 and 1 during the week, and that number is 947-2797, 947-2797, and they're specifically helping seniors. So there are people out there who are very willing to help and to make sure that seniors particularly, who really should be very careful about going out, that they can help you and not have you be exposed. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you.
That was the mayor answered it terrifically. I was just going to emphasize again, just as she said, call the Senior Connections. Our recreation department has made contact with a private grocery delivery firm, and they can make the connection. If there's no volunteers to do it, they can help make a connection with a food distribution grocery shopping group to give you some help with that. Let me take a shot at one right now. That somebody is asking about remodel projects, that they have a remodel project that's in limbo. And the question is, when do we think we'll get back to doing building inspections? The answer to that is we are really waiting on the county public health department order at this point, which clearly indicates that certain construction is essential and all other construction is not essential. If it's not considered essential under the order, then we are not providing building inspections and construction should not be continuing. When that order is lifted or modified to allow remodel projects, others to get started again, then we will go back to doing building inspections, maybe somewhat modified in order to make sure that we are following all of the social distancing requirements, but only when the county order is modified will we begin building inspections again on those types of projects.
Well, as far as groceries, I would like to add to this. DeMartini's is also offering curbside pickup for seniors, pregnant women, and people with pre-existing medical conditions. So you can email your order to dmartiniorchard@gmail.com, including your name, phone number, and grocery list. And they will pack up the order overnight and then give you a call to confirm your order and tell you what time to come by to pick it up. So that is also another option for getting food.
Then we have a question. When do you think testing will be widespread?
That's not a question we're able to answer. You know, when I listened in, to the county health officer, she said that she hoped that there would be more testing available than there is right now. So I would suggest that you go to the Santa Clara County Public Health website, and they have a number of FAQs there. And they're also, I think there might be a way to ask a question there as well. But that's a great question, and it's unfortunate that there is not more testing available.
Let me respond. I see a couple of questions on the list of Q&A regarding the city's finances. I'll try to make this really brief. We're not necessarily in the same position as some of the other cities in the area. Los Altos relies very heavily on property tax revenues and not nearly as heavily as some cities on sales tax revenues. We have been assured by the county assessor that property tax revenues will not be affected by the COVID-19 shutdown at this point. Sales tax revenues clearly will be, but again, we don't rely much on sales tax revenues. Sales tax makes up only 10% or less of our overall revenues. So even though there'll be a hit there and we're going to have to be making some changes to what we're doing, it is not the kind of problem that some other cities may be facing. In the meantime, though, we do have approximately 10% of the city's positions are vacant currently. Most of those are unlikely to be filled at this time. And in terms of some part-time employees, particularly in the recreation department, we have let those folks go. So those are the first steps that we are taking. And then we will continue to evaluate the situation, and we will be discussing other steps among the staff and then with council if necessary.
Which commissions are not meeting at this time, and what is the plan for them to meet?
Do you want me to take that one, Mayor?
Yeah, you probably know that answer better than I.
Yeah, those that have items that need to be discussed will be, and there will be commission meetings for those commissions, provided that we can do all of the noticing and all the steps necessary remotely. For those that have essential business that must be taken care of, that will be taken care of, and notices will be sent, etc. But we are, again, following the county order about what qualifies as essential business to allow staff to go to City Hall. So we're being very careful about all of that. But again, we will get commission started up again as quickly as possible. The Planning Commission, I know, has a brief meeting tomorrow just to kind of get used to working remotely. And we're going to get started with some of these others later in this month. I know Financial Commission has plans to meet. So each staff member is working with the chairs of the commissions to determine what is essential and what needs to be done at this point.
So next, what is the police department doing in view of the increase in home burglaries and car break-ins? Andy, would you like to answer this for us? Oh, there you go.
We have, you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we have seen a couple commercial burglaries, one in the north end of the town, one on the south end of town. You know, the good news with the stay-at-home order, most people are home, and I'm not aware of any significant rise, or really even with the exception of one or two residential burglaries. So I'm not sure if I really understand the questions. And same for car break-ins. Clearly, in normal times or in cases like this with the coronavirus, there are still people that what they do for a living is they prey on one another or others, and that's how they support themselves. So there are always opportunists out there, whether it be phishing scams or scam door-to-door sales people, or people that are going through the neighborhoods at night looking for unlocked cars and anything that they can take. So my best advice is, you know, to be diligent, as you always are. Lock your doors and windows. Make sure you're not leaving any valuables in your vehicle, and certainly lock your car.
So the resident that asked about testing didn't hear the answer. Could we just give a brief, Chris or Jan, about what we said for the very first question?
Yes, I can update that. So the Dr. Sarah Cody, the public health officer for Santa Clara County, noted on Sunday at the town hall that Joe Simidian held that testing has not, the amount of testing that they were hoping to have by this time has not materialized. So we do not know when more testing will be available in a widespread way.
Trevor, can I jump in on one that I saw a question that I think we should respond to? Somebody has asked about concerns about domestic violence or anything like that, because everybody being home, like there's a concern that there may be an increase in child abuse or domestic violence. Ruth Patrick just sent us a chat saying, and I'm just going to read exactly what she says. Can you let residents know, please, that Women SV, Women of Silicon Valley, is still providing services for domestic abuse survivors, particularly for those involved with a powerful, sophisticated abuser. This is particularly difficult and potentially dangerous time for survivors trapped 24/7 with their abuser. You should call 833-966-3678 to speak to an advocate. That's from Ruth Patrick, Women SV.
All right. What's the status of the Foothill Expressway improvements? Are they considered essential or being put off for a while?
Jim Sandoval,
Yeah.
I think you're online. Do you have the update on the Foothill Expressway project? Jim, are you on? This is Jim Sandoval, the Engineering Services Director.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Jim.
Yeah, the project is proceeding as planned. I believe it breaks ground in about 2 weeks. We're having a kickoff meeting this Thursday to discuss the details of that.
There's also a question about the creation of a small business loan program for Los Altos businesses. Apparently, Mountain View has started a program to put together some small business loans for Mountain View businesses. And I believe the Chamber of Commerce here is looking to work with the city to, and others to try to come up with a similar type program for Los Altos businesses. So please stay tuned for that.
So I also have a question from Mike Profit. I'm going to allow you to talk. Getting there. Okay. I can't. All right. Anyways, there's been a rise in racism against Asians since COVID-19 became a pandemic. Has there been a reported rise in racist incidents in Los Altos? If so, what action has been taken?
If it's okay with the mayor, I think we should allow Chief Galea to try to respond to that one.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris. I don't think we have had any reported cases in Los Altos, certainly nothing that I'm aware of. I've been talking regularly with our county police chiefs and the district attorney, Jeff Rosen. As a matter of fact, we put out today on our Twitter accounts and other social media platforms a message that the district attorney's office produced about racism and the related to the COVID-19 virus. But we have not had any reports that I'm aware of.
That's good to hear.
Perfect. Regarding what the county considers essential for construction, how does one make a case and bring it to the city's attention? Is City Hall open to perform inspections for essential and / critical situations?
Great question. And Community Development Director John Biggs, I think, is on the line. John, you've been our point person on that. Do you want to answer how someone can make the case that their project is essential and needs to move forward?
Certainly, I'm here, Chris. If someone has a situation where you have something like your water heater has stopped operating or has broken in some way, or your heating system that's providing heat to your home has stopped working, and you need to replace or make repairs to those units, please go on our website. There is a link to the Building and Planning Division's web pages, and also a phone number link. You can call and leave a message and explain to us what you will be doing. We will get back in touch with you to inform you of what steps can be taken to get a permit in hand. And you can even do some of those repairs without having a permit in hand at the beginning, just so that you can make your home or your business habitable, and the essential business habitable and usable again. And then our inspectors will go out and inspect the project to make sure that it is meeting the building code requirements. So we are available to go out and do those inspections in emergency situations.
Perfect. Okay.
I also wanted to mention something else about block action teams, also known as BATS. So one of our goals this year is to increase the percentage of block action teams throughout the city. And since we're all home now and hanging out and walking up and down our blocks, this is a perfect time for neighbors to think about forming a block action team for your own street. And we're thinking of ways we can help facilitate this and to get people together. But since we're all hanging out with a little bit more free time on our hands, it suggests that you consider that. And if you search online, I think it's on the Los Altos Community Foundation website, or it may also be on the city's website for block action teams. There's information there on how you can form your block action team, what it means. And it's basically neighbors looking out for each other, so that if there's a situation where there's an earthquake or other type of emergency, that we know our neighbors, we know who we should be checking on first, and just make sure that we're all safe. So I encourage you to do this, and hopefully you'll be getting more information about this in the next week or so as well.
And Mayor Ann Heppenstall, our emergency management coordinator, just chimed in on the chat with, for anybody who's interested, should go to www.losaltosbat.org. And that's where you get more information.
Perfect.
One of the reasons school closings were delayed was the concern of increased domestic violence and child abuse. Have you actually seen an increase? What are residents supposed to do if they suspect that domestic violence or child abuse happened?
Well, they should certainly call 911 and contact the police department. And as I mentioned earlier, Women SV is also operating 24/7, and people should certainly contact Women SV, who can speak, and then you can speak to an advocate there who can give you give you the help that you need to try to get out of that situation.
Can the track be used at Mountain View High School by neighbors?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know the answer to that question. I believe Los Altos School District schools are open. Their fields, I believe, are open. But I do not know about Mountain View High School's track. We can check on that, and we'll try to get something up on our website about that.
Now, this might be another question by Andy, but how are Los Altos residents doing with social distancing and staying out of parks? Has the city started to take?
Yep, great question, Trevor. I will start with, we're doing better. I think as we are all adapting to the order, and we realize the significance and the importance of adhering to the order from Dr. Sarah Cody, we're doing better. But we're not where we should be. We're still seeing on occasion the organized groups or small groups of people playing some type of sport at the schools. Many of our residents are creatures of habit, and they'll walk the downtown area, go in to have a cup of coffee, and perhaps congregate longer than I would like to see out front, or trying to find a place to sit. Many of the businesses have been very I think acting responsibly and responsive to our request that they stack the chairs and not make the tables available. So that has helped a lot. But all in all, we're definitely making progress, but still we can do better because every day we're still getting calls for service about people playing sports or congregating at the parks.
Okay, perfect. We got a question from Larry Barron. If it's gonna help me unmute. Nope. Okay. It's
Well,
not.
we have a comment from Larry. He says he lives near Mountain View High School and the track is closed. So for a person who has asked if they could use the track, it's not available. There's also another question. Do you know how many confirmed COVID-19 cases there are in Los Altos? We do not know. As I mentioned earlier, the information on the county's website tells what the number of cases are in the county overall. And Dr. Sarah Cody, the public health officer, on Sunday announced that it's pretty consistent. They're finding it consistently across the county. So they did not provide any information city by city. And I don't know that they have that, or they're certainly not sharing that at this point.
Larry, it looks like you're unmuted if you want to ask another question besides that one.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Trevor, do you want me to jump in here? I see a couple that I think are probably on a lot of people's minds. So let me try to hit a couple of these real quick. A couple of questions about parks and our public restrooms. As has been mentioned, outdoor exercise is absolutely encouraged, provided that there's appropriate social distancing. Our parks are open. However, in accordance with the county order, the parking lots are closed. And I believe that the county order, they did that to try to prevent gatherings at parks. But our parks are open. The restrooms are closed. Unless there's a way that they could not be locked, they are in fact closed. One other question here that I'm sure is on a lot of people's minds is gardeners and landscapers. This has come up a lot in several questions and a lot of contacts, I believe, with our police department. The answer to that is anyone can, of course, maintain the landscaping on their own property. However, to bring in private contractors, contracted landscape or gardeners is not considered essential, provided that it's for cosmetic purposes. However, if your yard is getting to the point where it's becoming a nuisance, meaning that it is a public health hazard, rodents, etc., may be living in your grass because the weeds are getting so long, or it becomes a fire hazard. At that point, or as you approach that point, we would absolutely encourage that you bring in a gardener or landscaper to clean up the yard and make it so it's no longer a public health hazard. But that is the exception. Otherwise, you cannot be having private gardeners or landscapers come just for cosmetic purposes.
Question, is Sharif planning a new budget to give to city council? Will there be layoffs? Will contract negotiations continue?
We are entering this July 1, 2020 will be the second year of a 2-year budget, and typically in the May-June timeframe of heading into the second year, we come to the city council to make adjustments to what was planned for that second year budget. We anticipate doing that. I believe the end of May will be a discussion with the city council and the financial commission regarding next year's budget.
And Sharif, if you want to unmute yourself, if you want to add anything to that. Are there plans to fit the crossing light on San Antonio Road, which have not been working for a number of months?
Jim Sandoval, do you know if there's anything happening with crossing lights on San Antonio Road?
Jim?
Okay. All right, thanks. I'm sorry, was there a question for me?
Yes, Jim. Do you know if we have our traffic signal maintenance folks going to be looking at crossing lights on San Antonio that apparently are not functioning?
Yeah, we're trying. We have at least 8 of those crosswalks that need repair, and so we're trying to put together a, a complete maintenance package to fix all of them at once. We're also trying to get grant money on the side to do it and add more. But either way, we're looking at this summer is our plan to get those fixed all kind of at once.
Perfect. Did we answer would the City Council and City of Los Altos be willing to consider allocating financial resources to create a small business loan similar to Mountain View? Did we answer that earlier?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question. I mentioned it earlier, and I am a couple of us are in contact with the Chamber of Commerce and also talking to the Los Altos Community Foundation to see if we can put together some kind of program to help small businesses. So stay tuned. Thank you for answering the question, and we'll asking the question, and we'll certainly look at that together.
Is construction work at Los Altos High continuing?
The answer is at least some of it is continuing. The MVLA High School District did receive an exemption from the county to continue working on at least some of the Los Altos High School project. I can't tell you if it's the entire project or just a portion of the project, but I do know they have been granted an exception by the county.
Any comments to having seen requests for residents to share lawnmowers? Which would be worse than having a gardener mow the lawn?
I honestly don't think I have a comment on that. No, I really don't have a comment, except that everybody should be following the county order regarding using disinfectant wipes, hand sanitizer, social distancing, all of that, provided that they're following all of those guidelines. I think it's their own decision as to whether or not they share lawnmowers or other equipment.
Is construction on the community center still going on?
No, that has stopped.
And we did receive a couple questions from email before. Do you guys want to answer those now?
Sure.
Put them in the chat. All right. So the first is how, regarding the number of COVID cases in Los Altos and the county, and how much information we have on that.
We don't have any specific information about Los Altos.
Perfect. When is Fremont Avenue roadway and bike pedestrian area between Stevens Creek and Grant Road redesign going to happen?
Again, I'm going to ask Jim Sandoval if he knows what the status of that project is at this point. I believe that would be one that will be part of the capital improvement program that will need to go to the city council in the next month or two.
Yeah, Chris, we're waiting on Caltrans permits for that. Since there is partial funding from the state, there are kind of certain types of studies and permits we need from Caltrans. And so long short of it is, once we get their feedback on our draft design, and we can wrap up design in the fall and then put it out to bid for construction in the spring of 2021.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Does the City of Los Altos have the resource to provide testing? Is there a plan to track the contacts of who have been infected? And is there anything else we can do in this field?
Yeah, I just want to mention, I mentioned before that, testing is very limited. and testing is prioritized for frontline healthcare workers and people who present significant symptoms of the virus. So at this point in time, there is not general testing available to see if someone, may have been exposed or is negative. So that's not possible at this time. And we do not have any information as to when the testing might be more available.
Trevor, I see a question here about grocery stores and can the city issue guidance to grocery stores? At this point, I don't think we plan to do that. We have been our police have been in contact with grocery stores, trying to make sure that they are following the guidelines and to make sure that deliveries are being safely made to grocery stores. But I'd be real hesitant for the city to come in with a whole different set of guidelines than what the county already has in place. I don't want the city to be taking a position that confuses or in any way contradicts the county's position on social distancing and the guidelines for all essential businesses. So at this point, I don't think we have any plans to be issuing any different guidance than what the county has already issued.
And then is Redwood Grove closed to the public? Was it too crowded?
Redwood Grove, just as with all our parks, it is open to the public, but the parking lot by the Garden House is closed per the order of the Public Health Department at the county.
Perfect. And then has anyone at the county or city explored the use of virus tracking software as has been used in Singapore?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Come on, I know someone else has more questions. Anything from the department heads?
Trevor, this is Jim Sandoval.
Jim?
I got an update on the County Foothill Expressway. It actually breaks ground next week. So Monday is the date that the contractor has the green light to mobilize.
Okay. Another question, is it true that the city of Los Altos is fining gardeners and landscapers $800 to $1,000 for working during the shelter-in-place order?
At this point, and I'll ask Chief Galea to chime in. At this point, to the best of my knowledge, we have not cited anybody. I know we have issued warnings, but I don't believe we have cited anybody. But let Chief Galea respond.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris, you're absolutely correct. We have responded to numerous complaints. We're tracking those calls for service and complaints in our dispatch center. Typically, we'll make contact with a landscaper or gardener. We printed up little informational cards and with the ordinance, and we've been giving those out. And for the most part, everybody's been receptive to it, and I'm not aware of anyone being cited yet.
Thank you, Andy.
And then there's a requirement for retail stores, non-essential retail stores to continue to pay for minimum trash pickup. Is this a requirement? Will this requirement by the city change?
We are in discussions with Mission Trails about the various pieces and aspects of the response to the virus. And at this point, I don't anticipate that changing. But again, we are in discussions with them on that matter.
Yeah.
I just want to remind people who are on the call that there is a COVID-19 page on the city's website, losaltosca.gov, that the CSA, Community Services Agency, is available for people who need help with food, who are income qualified, and that the Los Altos Community Foundation has a relief fund, which you can also find out more about on their website, losaltoscf.org.
For everybody who's listening in, I have a question here. Somebody asked how many people are listening. I think it peaked at about 130 participants were online. It may have been a little different. Trevor may have a better number than that, but I thought I saw about 130.
Mm-hmm. And I'll have a final number. It saves everything. So since the Foothill Expressway Almonte construction starts next Monday, will the traffic blockage start then? What will be blocked off?
Jim Sandoval, do you know, or is that really a question for county roads to have to respond to?
That's a better question for county roads. We'll have a better idea on Thursday when we meet with them, but essentially there's the project is 160 days, and 105 of those, these are working days, they're planning to shut one lane or another at some point. So I doubt it's going to start right off the bat where there's a lane closure. The lucky thing is there's no traffic right now, so they're going to be moving as quickly as they can.
What changes do you foresee for Los Altos once the curve is flattened?
Well, we're going to follow whatever the county says. So it's really up to them to look at what's being done, see how well the shelter in place is going, and we will follow whatever they advise. They actually just sent out an update that says the model strongly suggests that the shelter-in-place order has significantly reduced the growth of cases in Santa Clara County. They say we are on track to see a range of 2,500 to 12,000 positive COVID-19 cases by May 1, depending on how well interventions continue to work and how much additional testing happens, which is far below what they estimated could have happened without the shelter in place. And the reason for the shelter in place is to make sure that we have sufficient hospital capacity for people who are sick, and that we can take care of everyone who needs to be taken care of, and that the health workers do not have to make difficult decisions as to who can get help and who cannot. So it's super important to continue to shelter in place and to limit your interactions with other people. You should be interacting only with the people that are in your current living situation, and not be getting closer than 6 feet to anyone else, at least until the shelter in place is completed. And hopefully people in Los Altos will be staying safe and healthy, and we can get back to our normal way of life. Who knows when, but hopefully sooner rather than later.
Trevor, do you think that's a good spot to wrap it up?
Yeah, that's works for me. Any last words? Any concluding thoughts?
I'd like to just thank everyone for participating. I'd like to thank everyone for following the shelter-in-place orders and for being really model citizens and doing what we have to do here in Los Altos. So really appreciate that. Appreciate all the work that the city staff are doing to keep us safe, that the police and the fire are continuing to do their jobs, and all of the people in our town who are working, the grocery workers, the other workers who are not the highest paid workers, but who are out there on the line, helping us all get through this together. We sincerely appreciate it, and hope that you all stay safe and healthy, and we're back to normal soon.
And if I could just echo exactly what the mayor said, and continue to thank everybody in the community for your support as we go through this extremely difficult time for all of us. And finally, if you have any comments about this format, this town hall, good, bad, criticisms, anything, please feel free to email us, particularly Trevor Marsden. And so if we decide we can do this again, we'll tailor it to how you would like to see it. And again, thank you.